If you guys are really worried about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau being shut down or even defunded,
I am so glad to be here with you today.
I made a video that talks about the likelihood of this. It's really not likely.
CFPB was founded in 2011 after the Great Recession, and the agency aims to protect Americans from financial fraud, abuse, and unfair practices. Critics say shutting it down is an attempt to loosen financial regulations.
I got elected on making government better, more efficient, and smaller. And that's what we're doing.
You shouldn't be worried because New York has its own state protection agencies that can help you with consumer credit reporting. This video is a resource for you for those of you guys in the credit repair industry or just looking to hire the best credit repair company in New York City. I leverage extensive knowledge of both federal and state-specific credit reporting laws, such as the Consumer Credit Fairness Act, enacted in 2021 by the state of New York. So if you're a New York resident and you're worried about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau facing budget cuts or even political uncertainty, you're not alone, and this video is for you. Many consumers fear their federal protections could be compromised if the CFPB's mandates weaken. Fortunately, New York State has its own set of robust consumer-centric reporting laws that you could take advantage of, and that's what this video is all about. And they could be sometimes a lot more effective than federal avenues for resolving credit disputes. Why this matters for you? Timely disputes. Inaccurate items on your credit report can lower your score and increase your interest rates whenever you apply for a loan or even a credit card. New York State has stronger credit laws. New York's Consumer Credit Fairness Act and the Department of Financial Services enforce stricter timelines and documentation requirements to keep creditors in check. Your peace of mind matters. Even if the federal processes slow down or even halt, state agencies can protect you and provide you optimal solutions for your credit reporting needs. Let's take a look at the differences between the CCFA and the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The statute of limitations underneath the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the CCFA differ a lot. Let's take, for instance, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Those statute of limitations are not directly specified underneath the FCRA, but in the CCFA they are. It's actually 3 years. The CCFA requires detailed documentations before any financial institution can file a lawsuit against the consumer, whereas the Fair Credit Reporting Act relies solely on data furnishers and credit reporting agencies. In my experience helping thousands of consumers nationwide, but in particularly the state of New York, I found that state-level enforcement is a lot faster than relying on the federal law. The 3-year statute of limitations in New York is important to prevent debt collectors from reviving zombie debts 7 to 10 years or even around that area of time. This is important for really making it difficult for debt collectors to validate debt and revive it. You can definitely use this to your advantage when dealing with a collection being reported on your credit report. So if any creditor is trying to report a 4-year debt, a 5-year debt, or a 7-year debt, or a 6-year debt, you have this law to protect you. They're out of their statute of limitations. The DFS can enforce state regulation to protect you from these collection agencies. Enhanced documentation requirements required by the DFS and the state of New York make it much more difficult for debt collectors, third-party agencies, to verify that debt belongs to you. So that makes the debt validation process so much easier if you're on this side of the camera. And this basically reduces your chances for frivolous lawsuits or just, silly lawsuits that can basically be prevented. In the state of New York, there's a lot of protection from default judgments. In the state of New York, the CCFA requires creditors to promptly notify you before a lawsuit is taken place. This closes many loopholes used in the predatory litigation process. Local enforcement is much faster and more reliable than the CFPB, as the DFS focuses on state-specific issues that you have direct protection of. So they tend to act swiftly when they get a consumer dispute from you or me working on my client's behalf. Quicker resolutions means you can get items removed quicker off your credit report. Let's go over some basic scenarios again that could possibly help you. So if a debt collector has a debt that is older than 3 years, you can get that removed off your credit report based upon the statute of limitations from the state of New York. Another example, Under the CCFA's 3-year limit, everything is time barred. So the DFS can force debt collectors to stop collection and reporting. If a debt collector sues you and fails to provide chain of ownership and a contract that states they are allowed or you allowed them to handle your personal information, you can say that thing is pretty much good as gone. And if you discover that a lawsuit was filed without proper service, you could also use that to your advantage as well. While the New York Department of Financial Services is a good source to attempt to repair your credit, there may be times where the CFPB comes into handy, and that's where wisdom and experience come into play. And that's why you can always work with me. Here at Pinnacle Credit Repair, again, we specialize in federal credit reporting laws and state-specific credit repair laws, particularly Florida, Massachusetts, Illinois, Florida, California, and Texas. So if you're in any one of those states or others, please be sure to reach out to us for our expertise. We can work on your behalf and help you understand what's affecting your credit and point you in the right direction. If you guys want to know more about the work that we provide here, I encourage you to check out the YouTube playlist I'll leave right here. There's thousands of case studies of our clients that we've helped through various states by applying these state-specific laws and federal laws to make sure the outcome for our clients is really good. For those of you that want to do it yourself, feel free to use the link in the description below. It's a link to the New York State Agency where you can actually file a complaint, and it's pretty similar to the CFPB, so go ahead, have at it. For those of you that don't trust yourself and don't have the experience and want elite level expertise, a lot of you guys maybe never even knew about this agency. Well, there's a lot that you probably don't know that we know here, and that's why people hire us every single day. For those of you interested in the service, go ahead and book a consultation with me. I'll review your credit report and tell you exactly what's affecting it. I have clients like this that we've helped. That's a $50,000 late payment I removed off my client, and even people with 800 credit scores hire me too as well. I work with all walks of life. Don't be shy. The link's in the description below, and I'll see you on the other side.